Well, you come very well equipped.
Well, I do my best.
So, you know, it's like still camera, cell phone camera, video camera.
And I made sure to charge my batteries last night. How long have you been with the Rotary?
Since 2011. So, I mean, it seems kind of flown by. So, my role in Rotary, I'm a Rotary board member, but we also have different lines of service. So international service, community service, things like that. So I'm also the chair of our community service line of service, which kind of oversees a variety of things that we do in the local community. So this came under my purview, even though Diane and Lisa are responsible for the core program. And other things like the Jampy kind of shelter. So we provide food once a week and those kinds of things. So those things are my area of responsibility.
All very worthy causes.
They're all worthy causes because they're all.
Sit in the front? Okay. Yes.
Hello. Hello. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Oh, God.
Oh, this is wonderful. Hello.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy. Oh, I walked right by you. I'm still out of breath from carrying the books. Thank God I met Caesar. I was like, oh my God, I can't come. That's terrible. I know, just introduction. Maybe I don't have to speak. As long as I can talk like that, I'm good to speak.
This is a big day for us. We are so happy for the
This is wonderful.
and
Give me the book show.
we're going to talk about the wonderful things.
They're sweet.
The painting, the basic painting was done by so the embellishment,
It looks very nice.
the embellishment was done by local artists. And we put together a banner for
Lovely.
fairy doors, we bought,
Yeah, I just came in with a box full of, somebody had given me a box full. You know who gave me most of those books was Joe Brill. She only got those big hardcover, beautiful books. And my son, my grandson, seems to not like to do any storytelling. Really? Yeah, no, he wants the phone so he can play his games. He's like his brother.
Well, actually, with my
So I had kept some.
right, yeah. It sort of has become, we're kind of building this routine, and so he will, kind of when he's looking for his 15-minute of cuddle time, books. We read books, and it's like, oh, could you read that one again? Read that one again. Like, okay. So he likes books that he can act out. So there's one that's very funny. It's called The Loud Winter's Nap, and it's about a tortoise that's trying to find a quiet place to nap. And the other one is about penguins and lollipops. And you have to really act it out because a penguin eats a seagull's lollipop by mistake, and the seagull's really angry, and you have to try to make the seagull not be angry. So it's like, okay, kids, here, yell, razzle dazzle, stamp your feet.
Oh, that's
It's very funny, I don't know. I'm like a kid. I go through Barnes and Nobles. I'm like, oh, this looks like a fun book. Maybe I'll like this one.
I so like being in front of that. I love that. That's my job.
Other elected officials and say how important House Center
it's back in my day too, so.
That's how I know her, but I know she was she always used to do the polls.
Thank you.
Do the polls person, whatever they're called.
Yeah, it's like poll watchers.
Yeah, the ones that work.
Oh, okay. Poll workers, yeah.
Poll workers.
God bless them. Oh my God. Wouldn't have elections without them.
Yeah, have to go for 5 o'clock in the morning and then
You guys hear me? Yes? I just want to welcome everyone to the Golden Bookshelves. And I'm Chappie, manager. I'm the president of the Rotary Club. Wanted to give you just a little bit of the history of what we used to do. The reading is fundamental. And I can actually remember as a kid, because I grew up in Peekskill, the bus that used to come around, and I think it was like a penny or a quarter you could buy a book for. And that was done by, previous Rotarians. And to me, it's important. I actually used to be a teacher, so I think, literacy is definitely an important part of helping out the community and the kids in the school. And just so you guys know, like, what Rotary is about, it's not just about going to lunch and meeting and, talking about what's going on in your life or your business, but it's also about giving back to the community. And sometimes you get volunteered for things that you might not want to get volunteered for, which I have done. But in the greater good of things, it helps out the community. And I just want to introduce our actual bookshelves, which we have 6 of, right?
5 in place.
And 5 of them are in place. So, Diane, Lisa, it's all you guys.
Okay. Thank you. So, good morning. I'm Diane Newman-Kahn, chairperson together with Lisa Montalto of Literacy Lovers, the Peekskill Rotary. So this is super special for me because I'm a hometown gal born in the Peekskill Hospital, the old one.
The old one.
Not aging myself. I'm really, really, truly grateful to have my husband, David Kahn, Dr. Kahn, and my youngest daughter, Samantha, here today. I'm a wife, mother of 2 girls, a dog. I'm a Rotarian for 2 years, and I'm a certified health coach for 5 years, and I run a medical practice. And more than that, I'm a volunteer. I can't say enough about volunteerism. It's in my blood. Being part of the Peekskill Rotary really reconnected me to the community I love, Peekskill, and all of you. I've never met in Rotary a more dedicated group of fun-loving, warm-spirited volunteers. We're so grateful today that you all took time out of your busy day to be here right now, so thank you. I've witnessed a beautiful synergy. It's between Rotary and many of you in this room to make this project happen. I don't know, I was just speaking to Reverend Jeanette Phillips about this, but when I'm doing the right thing, I get a visceral response, kind of like, chills. I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but that's the feeling I get with this project. Rotary International has guidelines, and it suggests that we ask our community for what they need. So Literacy Lovers and the Golden Bookshelf began in my home. I invited a group of people that said they were interested, citizens, professionals. We all sat around, we brainstormed over some coffee, and we basically came out saying that we really need to get books in the hands of children, and that was the core of the discussion. So at the same time, Mary Keenan Foster, and then the superintendent or assistant superintendent of education of the Peekskill schools, was investigating a program that she was hoping to introduce as a community coalition by a Harvard professor called the Boston Basics. You're going to hear a lot more about that, but as one of the many interested organizations, the Peekskill Rotary got behind this great community initiative. Personally, as I went to school early at Lincoln Titus Elementary at the age of 4, I wasn't ready to learn to read, and it created a great confusion. And it took me years to untangle that. If we change one life here, I can't imagine coming from another country how that felt to me, how it might feel from somebody else here that may come from another country. It means everything. We heard the profound statistic from the Boston Basics program. 80% of brain growth occurs from birth to age 3. So the Golden Bookshelf seemed the perfect way to help support the program by getting books into the hands of babies. and children. Today we have 8 professionals, leaders, educators that we would like to introduce. But first you're going to hear from my co-chair, Lisa, and thank you for all helping children to flourish and healthy lives.
Thank you. It would be easy for me to say ditto, right? I'm very happy to have found Rotary. Just the premise that it's based on of give back has been very meaningful to me. Also a professional volunteer. Their whole premise of working not only locally but internationally. If you don't know anything about Rotary, I would encourage you to look it up, go online, learn about it, and ask. There's many of them here today, many Rotary members, and I'd like to thank them for coming and supporting our project. The project's appeal to me was one of the fact that my father was an immigrant who had only gone to 3rd grade. He only received a 3rd grade education, and as we grew up, he stressed the importance of education. Did a lot for us. If we needed books when we were going to college, he would locate them for us. He was very much into the education, so much so that he had 3 educators in the family, myself included. One of the things he used to do was, even when school was out, we would have to read during the summertime. We would have to then copy from books, pages. We would have to do our multiplication tables. And then he would come home at night and put a big M on it so we couldn't reuse it from the day before. So he was very much into education. My background is an early childhood educator. So I understand the importance of early exposure to literacy. And I also understand what happens if that doesn't occur, and the importance of early intervention at that point in time. What happened too was I heard things in my mind as this project was happening, and 2 sayings kept ringing true to me. One was the importance of talking to people. It's so important when you're out, just talk to people. You never know who you might meet, you never know what connection you might make. In talking to a friend of mine from years ago when our children were growing up, that was the first start of us getting books donated. So please, just talk to people anytime you're out there. Tell them what you're doing, and you'll be amazed at what that starts. The other thing that rung true to me was the saying about it taking a village. And this project, I think, epitomizes that, as we've all come together from various backgrounds, socially, ethnically, politically, economically, and professionally, to stand together and to make a difference in the lives of the children in Peekskill. So I just want to say how thrilled I am to be part of this project. Now, if I could take a moment to introduce some people, the first being Reverend Jeanette Phillips, the founder of Hudson River Health Center.
Well, it certainly is a pleasure to greet you on behalf of our President and CEO, Ann Kaufman-Nolan, and our Board Chair, the Honorable Alan Steiner, for your being able to come here today as from the community and Rotarians. Hudson River Healthcare does have some history with the Rotary Club from years back. But today, the influence that you bring to the center with the golden bookshelves is really understanding that our children, as they come in for care, you want to be able to have an atmosphere that makes it inviting. And certainly having the books makes it inviting for them to come and go to the bookshelves, go to the book corner, as well as in their own health care. It kind of makes for the well-being of health care, so that we're very privileged to have them in our pediatric department, in our women's health department, and then here in our atrium area. The children have already, as Mary was saying, how the books are really flying off the shelves. It creates for the children an atmosphere of community, of how the community cares. So I want you to know that we really appreciate the work that the Rotarians are doing in this community and making sure that our children have the right, if you will, to increase their literacy. It is so important, and important because we're in a diverse community, and we're able to celebrate our children that speak another different language in order to have books that will help them to say, I go to the Hudson River Healthcare, and that bookshelf has books in a native language, and I can share that back with my family as well. So thank you again for all that you do. We do have some of our staff, our COO, Allison Dubois, is here. We're very pleased to have her. And our pediatric staff are busy seeing patients, and that's a good thing. And so my final piece is, because you are concerned about children, and in that concern today, we have to continue to be strong advocates. And being strong advocates mean we have to let all our elected officials know what we need for our children. We need the reauthorization of the Child Health Plus program, so CHIP. So make sure if you've called, call again. Every call counts, and I see our elected officials here nodding their head too. Every call counts, because we need to have this insurance program as well as a community health center to be able to keep its doors open to provide the care. So all of that encompasses why we have our bookshelf, why we have our health center, and why we have our community members. So thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Mayor Andre Rainey, as well as Deputy Mayor Kathy Talbot, to the mic to speak. And at this moment, I'd like to recognize Councilman Ramon Fernandez as well.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
I want to say good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for having us here. First and foremost, thanks to the Rotary Club for such a great initiative, and Hudson River Healthcare, you've done so much for the community. Saying thank you isn't enough as far as I'm concerned. This is a great collaboration, a great effort. As a person that's always been an advocate for the youth, I'm really appreciative of this actual initiative. You know, I grew up enjoying reading books as much as the kids nowadays enjoy watching YouTube and playing on video games. So reading is a very important thing. And my child is actually in the Uriah Hill schools now. And you know, one of the things that they ask them to do every day is read a different book to your child and let your child read to you. And at 4 years old, though he can't read, he sees the pictures and creates his own story out of it. And I think that's beautiful. So something like this is something well needed. I'm looking forward to seeing what other ideas the Rotary Club has for the youth in this community. There's a lot of kids that can use these type of initiatives, and this is the first step towards something great. And as Reverend Phillips said, you know, working with the city is the goal. You know, the community, the collaboration, the unification. That's what we stand for. If never before, definitely now. So thank you all of you guys that support this actual event. Thank you for coming, and continue to spread the word and make sure we get them kids to actually read these books. Thank you.
This is very encouraging to me. I think the Rotary does fabulous work. I think the health center here does an enormous amount for the community. And especially in this day and age when things are uncertain, to have something positive like this happen. I was really struck by one of the former speakers saying that the kids who are in here who may pick up a book that's written in Spanish and they take it home to their parents to read to their children. You know, it doesn't matter really, in my mind, what language you speak. What matters is the connection you have with your family, and then that translated into the community, which for the Rotary it's all about the Rotary. That's what the Rotary does. So I'm real thrilled to be here. I came in lugging a bunch of books, and thank God for Cesar, who happened to see me lugging the books, and he picked up the box for me. So wherever you are, Cesar. But thank you very much, and I just want to say kudos to everybody. This is beautiful, and it's in a beautiful container. I appreciate that too, the bookshelf. So thank you.
Well, I always say that I am double blessed because I'm born here in the United States, but I grew up in the Dominican Republic. So my first language is Spanish. Probably you can hear my accent.
Probably.
But my little one just came yesterday to the doctor appointment, and she got one of the books. So, and it's very, very impressive. I am father for two teenagers. Almost one is 21. They came here for almost 11 years to the health center, and the other one is 18. She still goes to the pediatrics, yes. And it's very, very interesting. We work with a school. Well, I remember when Miss Lisa, it was a teacher in Assumption School, and my two other kids, they went to Assumption, and it was very hard when they came here and they didn't know anything about speaking English, and they worked very hard to read and learn the language. We have here in the health center, the Comité Latino, Mirna is over there, so, and it's very helpful to the parents when they need translation and everything, so it's very great initiative. I applaud to the Rotary Club, and even we had to keep supporting the basis in the school districts. Another very good initiative. I think that can match, and we're going to have a very, very positive result in the future. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite up Ruth Wells from Fred's Pantry. She's the vice chair of CHOP.
I just want to thank the Rotary. We were thrilled to get one of these bookcases at the parish hall at St. Peter's, where Fred's Pantry clients gather every Saturday morning. I'm the daughter of two educators who were each the first college-educated generation in their family. My mother was a preschool teacher and my father was a college professor. So needless to say, books were really important in our house, and the interrelationship of kids and parents reading together. When I was little, the first thing that happened when my dad got home from work is he sat down in his big blue wing chair, and my sister and I piled into his lap, and he read us the funny papers. And and it went on from there, obviously. So I think that books in a home are one of the most important things that you can have in terms of the relationship of the parents with the kids. One thing that we've noticed with our bookshelf is, owing to the demographic of our clients, the Spanish-English books, the more of them we can get, the better. And I have learned over time, when we've had other books donated to us, that the parents are using those as a bridge for learning English and English literacy as well, and the books at the lower reading levels are helpful to them as well as for sharing with their kids. So the more of those we can get, the better. But also our young teen volunteers are enjoying the middle school age books. So thank you all very much.
Next up, Maria Velez Green, the program director of Scopes at Woodside Elementary School.
Thank you. This is an unexpected treat, actually. I wasn't expecting to speak this morning. So, but first of all, let me say that I am so honored to be here. As a longtime resident of Peekskill with two grown children who've been through the Peekskill School District, my children always loved reading books. And to us, that was and is the most priceless thing. We always give them for every holiday a book card to Barnes & Noble. So this is how much it means to us. Growing up in my home, books are also very important. My parents always stressed education. And I had the opportunity to serve on the Board of Education in our community as well years ago. So I know firsthand how important books are in the lives of our children. And to us, as part of WJCS, we're also very happy to be a part of this journey, because I think it is so important to give our children the opportunity to read books as much as possible. It helps them to travel to other worlds in their heads. They have the creativity. There's so many things that come out of this. And one of the things that we do in SCOPES, which is our school mental health program, is that at the end of the sessions, we often like to give our children the books. So these are wonderful opportunities. The bilingual books are great because also, as it was said earlier, it helps to bridge the gap. And I really believe that, this helps to bond the parent and the child even closer. So it is really critical that we are doing this in our community, because this is a gift that we are giving our families and our children. And working in the school district, I can tell you that children love to read books. And when they come to us and we read books together, they really take that to heart. They get a lot out of reading books. There's so much that they really receive in terms of the messages, and it is just critical. So I'm so happy that our community is embracing this initiative, and I cannot tell you enough how fortunate we are that the school district, both Mary Foster and Bridget Holloman, who's the head of the Peekskill Basics Initiative Committee, are here to celebrate this with us, because this is absolutely critical to our community. Thank you all. Thank
you. So Maria did my work. The next two people that are special to the whole project is Mary Keenan Foster, acting superintendent of Peekskill School, and Bridget Holloman, head of chair of Peekskill Basics.
So I've prepared an hour-long speech for you now. So I'm sure you've heard this quote, a famous cultural anthropologist, Margaret Mead: "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." So a group of dedicated people meet in Diane Kahn's lovely living room to talk about how Rotary can get involved with literacy. And then, voila. If only it were that simple. Months of planning, participation in Peekskill Basics, generous donations, time and energy of many Rotarians, community members, and finally, the launch of the Literacy Lovers Golden Bookshelf, complete with fairy door and Peekskill Basics logo and materials. Please take a flyer on your way out and share it. And what is our why? Why do we do this? What is our goal? To put a book in every child's hand and a story in every child's imagination and in their heart. It's through literacy that we can and will close the achievement gap. In fact, it's the only way. And it's through the partnership with the Hudson River Healthcare that together we can provide educational tools, also known as books, for our youngest Peekskill citizens. On behalf of the Peekskill City School District, from the bottom of my heart, I thank the Rotary and Hudson River Healthcare for creating equitable literacy opportunities and access for our children, and providing parent education on the value and importance of reading and discussing stories, which is Peekskill Basics 10 and 5. It is an honor and a privilege to work alongside you. Thank you.
Good morning and congratulations to the Peekskill Rotary / Literacy Lovers. I am so excited about the Golden Bookshelf. This will give our amazing scholars another opportunity to be exposed to books. I love how the community and the district are working together. The Golden Bookshelf really supports Peekskill Basics, which is an initiative to support early literacy. The Golden Bookshelf is an excellent resource for our scholars and parents. I believe that this will help the district close the achievement gap. The more books our scholars are exposed to, the better readers they will become. Now, as I reflect on our students, not only am I the coordinator for Peekskill Basics, but I'm a kindergarten / first grade teacher. So I have the children at ground zero. So as I reflect on my history as an African American woman, and Black History Month is approaching 5 generations back, my ancestors were not allowed to read. It was against the law. So I am a big advocate for literacy, especially our African American boys. They are the ones that I see falling between the cracks. So this golden bookshelf will give our scholars another opportunity. Thank you and congratulations.
One of the last people to talk briefly is Stacy Rivera from Barnes & Noble, Cortland Town Center. She's Community Business Coordinator. I just have to say, because of Barnes & Noble, we were selected as the holiday book drive, and we just can't tell you, Stacy, how grateful we are, because then the whole community was able to contribute books to the bookshelf because of Barnes & Noble.
Good morning. Thank you so much. On behalf of the Mohegan Lake Barnes & Noble, we want to congratulate the Peekskill Rotary Club on the success of the Literacy Lovers bookshelf. We were thrilled to see our community respond so graciously. Many of these donations were chosen based on customers' personal preferences, personal favorites from when they were a child. To know that these donations are being offered to children, no matter their financial limitations, to know that the children are being given an opportunity to go on a new adventure through the tales of a book in different languages. And to hear that these books are flying off the shelves just brings us so much joy as community members and as reading advocates. So thank you to the Peekskill Rotarians for letting us be such a special part of this initiative, and we are excited to see your continued success. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Lauren Brady from the Hudson Valley Gateway Chamber up for a second, please.
Good morning.
Hi.
Everybody's happy for a Thursday. Thank you so much for having me here. To the Rotary and the literacy lovers, I'm a literacy lover as well, but I'm not gonna lie, totally for like the 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. Like, I'm gonna read that before I leave here. It's totally my jam. Congratulations to you all. I know how much, especially Diane and Lisa, how much you do and give back your volunteer time and the time it took to put this together. So I'm so proud of you and what the Rotary has done, how much time you put in for our community as a whole. It's amazing. So congratulations, and the Chamber's so proud to support you. Especially, we're so proud of the partnership between the Rotary and the Chamber, and how many Chamber members and Rotary members came together to make this happen. The bookcase construction, which is beautiful, half of the lumber, I should say, and bookcase construction was helped by Jeff Dane of Dane's Lumber, Chris Thomas and Chappie Manzer and Manzer's Landscape and Design. The storage facilities, Tom Eichhoff of Cortland Town Center, and Rotary member, Chamber member, and former Mayor, the Honorable Mayor Mary Foster. The decorations, the fairy gnome doors, that's something I need in my house. The Kahn family, Lisa Montaldo and her family, and former Mayor Mary Foster, Sarah and Ronnie Midden, and Roseanne Harrigan. Really, thank you to all those people that made these happen. You know, I am a proud Peekskill High School graduate, grew up here my whole life. Going to the field library, you know, so lucky to have that here, but to now take these books and put them in places around the community. So everywhere you go, you can take out books and they're available to you, is such a blessing for our community that I'm so proud to be a part of. And I thank you all for being here, and thank you to the Rotary and Hudson River Healthcare for this amazing partnership. So thank you.
if I could, if you'll indulge me one moment, I just want to thank Ronnie Mitten and her daughter Sarah. They were instrumental in getting a lot of the donations of books from the libraries. Her daughter works and does the culling of the books that are being taken out of circulation, and they are brand new practically, and they were instrumental in getting our feet off the ground with that, so very, very thankful for the two of them. The other thing too, just briefly, there were a couple of publishers, Scholastic and
Random House Penguin,
who also had been very gracious to donate as well. And then, I'm sorry, I had run into a book author at a training I was at. His name was Enrique Feldman, and he does a lot of, he does bilingual books with his daughter, and he also donated books, so a shout out to him as well. And just some closing comments from two very, very important people in this project, our Rotarians, Tony Washington and Mary Foster.
Ladies first, always. And so,
I learned that a long time ago.
Good husband. Happy wife, happy life, right?
44 years.
So Tony, in this project, had the thankless task of figuring out how these bookcases would be built. And so Tony spent all the time trying to get the volunteer help of Jeff Danes, Keith Babalia from Home Mason, who lent us a free carpenter in the beginning, but most importantly, how we were going to get these painted. And so a thank you goes to Bill Hanovich of Ultimate Collision for spray painting these with high quality paint that you would actually use on cars. And so we have 5 that are in this beautiful gold color and 1 that's in a silver color that will eventually get hand painted into a castle, I am told. And so that's the one over at Fred's Pantry. So we didn't want to forget Bill because that was really important. The one thing that I do want to emphasize, for this to be a self-sustaining project, we actually need to make sure that the community supports future book drives, that people come out and actually, when Rotary says we're doing fundraising events, to understand that part of our proceeds go to buying books, because you can get donated books, but if you want to really target books, you know, for chapter books for early readers, chapter books for older readers, bilingual books for all age groups, some of that we have to buy. It's not all going to get donated exactly what we want. So supporting the Rotary events becomes so important to us because some of that money really goes into this project. And to emphasize the importance of Barnes & Noble, behind Lisa is a dolly with 3 boxes of books that came from the book drive. We got 24 boxes of books from Barnes & Noble from the holiday book drive, so we are very thankful for that. And I am the schlepper on Fridays for the 3 bookcases in Hudson River Healthcare, so I am becoming known as a fixture here, bringing the books and loading them, but it really is a joy to participate.
Mary actually stole most of my thunder, which I was kind of afraid of, but that's okay. The only thing I'd like to say is, and I spent a long career here in Peekskill, working for a company, BASF today. Those who have been in Peekskill for a long time remember it as the Merle Corporation. I spent quite a few years in human resources and many as a hiring manager. And I would see the impact of the lack of reading and reading comprehension skills on the ability of people to become good workers, okay, and more viable members of the community. And one of the things that I learned was that, and this is from talking to people in the school district, was that if a child wasn't reading at grade level by 3rd grade, then it was very likely, more likely than not, that they would be functionally illiterate in high school. And that was astounding to me, you know, so I put the 2 together, and what I came up with was we really need to intervene as early in a child's life as possible. So when the Literacy Lovers Project came along, it was kind of the perfect opportunity to get in on the ground floor and try to make a difference. A difference that ultimately will feel in having people who are better citizens, okay, workers who can help sustain our businesses, and ultimately people who can come together like we have to try and make a difference in the community longer term. That leads me into talking about sustainability, okay? And in order for this project to be sustainable over the long term, we need the help of everyone in the community, just to put it in perspective a little bit, and to talk about the impact of the holiday book drive. Those 2,400 books, if you average the cost out at about $10 per book, came to about $24,000 in money that Rotary didn't have to raise or spend. Okay, so it's a huge contribution. The other part of it is that the donated books that we get are primarily English language books. And in order to serve the community's needs and our target audience with bilingual books and Spanish books, that's largely through purchases that are being funded by Rotary. All right, and in order for this to be sustainable over the long term, we need the help of everyone, because dollar-wise, that's a really, really big commitment. So spread the word. Anything that you can do to support the Literacy Lovers Project and/or Peekskill Basics will make a real difference in the lives of children. And I'm just thankful that we finally got this kicked off. I can't wait to see where it goes. And thank you all.
Thank you. Oh, okay, we're just going to take a picture by the bookshelf. Thank you all for coming, for supporting this. Be on the lookout for some of our book fairs, book drives, sponsorship opportunities. Keep an eagle eye on new and gently used books. We want them. So thanks again. Have a great day.
Jeanette and Ruth and Maria.
But I wonder if it's